Welcome back to Slanted Chalk, where dads talk about what it really takes to raise elite athletes. This episode is different. Freddie opens up about the side of junior golf and college recruiting that most families don't see. The uncomfortable realities, the conversations behind closed doors, and the moment he realized talent alone doesn't always open up doors. From being told Division I golf won't change, to watching Lucky represent the United States overseas, to making the decision to turn pro. The story is about belief, but it's also about something harder, letting go. Freddie shares what it feels like to move from being dad on the bag to stepping aside so your son can be his own man. He breaks down how they built 7 Clovers management, why they approach sponsorship differently, and what success really looks like when trophies aren't the metric anymore. If you're a sports parent, if you're navigating recruiting, if you're learning how to shift from coach to supporter, this one will hit. Let's get into it.
So I was like, well, I at that point, I just kind of scratched my head about it. I was like, and it doesn't make you feel good because it's like
Right.
he's doing everything right. He works hard. I mean, I showed him his schedule, his syllabus. He puts in 8-hour days. He already hit the 10,000 hour rule by October 24th. We hit 10,000 hours in golf, in the craft. What more could you want? So, a lot of questions in my mind started happening. I reached out to Clyde Drexel, the NBA Hall of Famer, who's been really a big mentor to us. He's older than me. He's 70 years old this year now. And he kept telling us, he's like, these schools in the South and these guys from the South just don't want a minority player. It's really difficult. They don't want, he's like, it's so easy, so much easier for Lucky to go to Illinois or Michigan than it is for him to go to the school that you want to go to. And then it really dawned on me at that time that, golf may be changing in the diversity space of junior golf, and there might be more access. And I'll repeat to you verbatim what Golf Digest, the lead editor, told me. He said, in all the stories he's been writing about, and he wrote about us because they came to our house for a couple days and they did the thing with Steph Curry. He says, college golf, Division I golf, will not change with what's going on in junior golf. They are the roadblock because they're holding all these great golfers up, and it was difficult. It was like, and for me, I started, I overanalyze everything. And I'm like, well, is it they don't want to deal with the families? Are they not accustomed to dealing with families from different cultures and different backgrounds? Or they're used to the certain, square box, square peg, right?
Right.
But, and I think that has a lot to do with it. I mean, and I'm kind of ignorant in that golf space with recruiting because I'm so used to football recruiting and baseball recruiting, right? They don't care what your family looks like or what you do. Can you hit a ball? Yes. Let's go. Can you tackle? Can you run? Yes. You're going to bring value to my university. And that question about college, and the sports question is, do I bring value to your university? Yes or no? And in the golf space, it really seems like they don't care if you bring value to the university or not, because they don't make money. Golf is a negative sport in the athletic.
It's a cost.
Yeah. Right. So when you talk to these guys, and this is my, a conversation I had with Houston, like, how come you don't have more fans coming to events?
Right.
You had De La Fuente won the All-American. You had all these, like, what's going on with the marketing? You got to have a marketing budget because the football team has a marketing budget. Why can't we get more people to come to college events? Why don't we have the mascot out there? Why don't you have a few dancers or a cheerleader? Make this a college atmosphere for people to come to generate more revenue, to make it exciting. Of course, there's crickets on that. Like, look at me like I said something wrong, right?
Yeah.
So it made it easy in a way for us. But I'm a big believer that God drives, and whether we want to listen or not, it's going to happen. The thing is whether we're willing to listen. And I had to listen. And it's hard because, I'm the type of person, I'm kind of bullheaded. I get thumped on the head. I'm gonna listen, right? But
eventually,
eventually, right? But that's the, I hope my experience and parents listen to this and understand that that's the real roadblock. You could be as, Tom and Jane or John Smith and be as generic and fit the mold as much as possible. But at the end of the day, these coaches want this. And if you're not that, they're just not going to sign you. I mean, you're better off going to Europe and playing in Europe and being the dominant player in Europe. And then they have to get you. They have to pick you up. We missed the excuse me. We missed the junior am by like a couple strokes. It was real funny. I had a dad chest pump me at that event. That was really funny. It was the number one Canadian player in the country, and his dad came down and chest pumped me because they called an official over for him illegally dropping out of the sand. And the guy like really wanted to like fight people. Never seen it. But with me, there's always anomalies. But we got invited to the R&A to represent the United States. So we were the only player because Niles Russell, Preston Hayes, and all those other guys were busy with another tournament, I think the Western. So we were the next on the chopping block. So they said, yes, we want Lucky to come and represent U.S. So we went to the U.K. to Leeds and represented the United States in the R&A Boys, which was an amazing experience. Horrible golf, but amazing experience. Like playing UK, was just UK golf is so different. Like me and Lucky marveled at some of these kids. They'd take a 7-iron or 8-iron and they would run it so low and run it up to the green, and have a 10-foot putt for a bird. And that's how they play down there or up there or across the pond. And we were like target golf, right? 7-iron, 185, flight it, land it short. And we were constantly off the back of the green, chipping, trying to save it. But what it did, it humbled us really well because Lucky was like, Dad, I need to learn how to play here. So we ended up staying a couple more weeks, and I ended up caddying for Rasheen in the Women's Irish Open in Ireland.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah, it was great. And, I caddied for her at Porter Cup. I did 18 miles in one day. My feet were burning. I caddied for Lucky from 7, and we were done at 12. We're on 18. I told Lucky, I said, you got it. I got to go meet Rasheen on number 1. He was like, yeah, I got it. Went to meet Rasheen on number 1, and then we did another 9 holes. I'm 18 holes in.
Phenomenal. That's crazy.
Yeah. So, but she liked the way I caddied for her so well. She was like, listen, will you please caddy for me in the Irish Open? And I'm like, yeah, sure. So we did that. Lucky went and practiced with the Irish team at their facility. And then we came home and we did the underrated in New York. But we already had, we were turning pro at that time. So
the decision to turn pro, what changed? Was it perspective? How does your role have changed from being a junior golf dad to now a dad of a professional golfer? What were the priorities from there?
So the priorities were first, like you said, our dynamic of our relationship has changed, right? Especially in this last year, right? These last 2 years. Because Lucky has grown. He's growing into a young man. He's 6'2". Right. He's hitting the ball a mile. He's doing but he's really intelligent in his golf space and with his golf game. And for me, I have to get out of the way. You used to be dad. I used to be the go-to guy, right. Carry the bag. What do you think of the numbers, Dad? And now that dynamic has to get out of the way because our personal relationship, I'm dad. I'm managing, and I'm dad. I'm schedule. I get you there. I'm that. This is my role, and I'm really happy doing this role, and I'm proud of you. I love you. I have to get my butt out of the way. And then learning how to bite my tongue is, that's what you have to do as a dad, especially if you're familiar with golf and we know our sons. More about him, less about me. No me, really, none me whatsoever. So I spend most of our time picking out a schedule and saying, okay, what events do you want to do, kiddo? You're the boss. So and it dawned on me on this because we did an event, professional event, and we had this agreement. I was like, you cannot call me dad on the golf course as a professional. Do not call me dad. I'm Fred. And he couldn't stop calling me dad. He's like, Dad.
That's hard, though.
Yeah, it's really, really hard. But with that comes a certain relationship and a certain responsibility that Lucky thinks he has with me, as far as he wants to prove that he's the man. You know what I mean by that? He wants to prove, Dad, I got this. Dad, I am this. I got it. Even when he fails and even when he succeeds, I got it. And even when he fails, can't be there to coddle him. He's got to be able to recover and do it on his own. So, and that's really been hard, right? Because I want to help him. I got so much, 7 years of studying this game and learning from other people and doing all that stuff, I have a lot of information that I want to help him, right? But I felt that my biggest contribution to him is my relationships in the business space with sponsors, with people, with talking, getting him into events, talking about his status and doing these things. So my role, I'm like a manager, but I'm his driver, and I try to make things as normal as possible for him on the road. You know, mom cooks, you know, we ride in the RV. We've upgraded the RV now. It's a big boy. Now, the reason why we upgraded was for Lucky to be more comfortable. He has his own space. He has his PlayStation. He has a room up there. It's like, it's rolling in luxury for him, right? But that was for him. So I try to find myself trying to just get away from it. So what we did is this: last year we created a company called Seven Clovers Management Company. It's Lucky's company. He owns it. And I purposely wanted him to own his own management company. And the premise of his management company is to partner with agents and with sponsors and with money people, but not to sponsor as the individual golfer. And I'll tell you, a lot of golfers do this wrong. They get out of college, they create an LLC, and then they go out and they say, hey, will you give me money? I got these tournaments. I'm a professional golfer, yada, 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 right? And I'll give you half of my proceeds and pay you back. Well, to a lot of these business professionals who are now reaching retirement, they want to see a business. They want to see a deck sheet. They want to see value. They want to see value outside the course. They want to see, is this man ready to take on me sponsoring him or his corporate obligations with sponsors? So we created this company for him. And my job in the company is to shake the hands, create the sponsors, meet the agents, and partnership with agents who can help Lucky on his career path. Because I have a really great footprint or a procedure on how to approach sponsors and doorstep, you know, how the payment works and how we do things on social media for you and whatnot. So I'm good at that. Let me do that. But when you partner with the agents say, okay, I'm the golf agent. Here's this event, this event, this event, this tour, this tour, this tour, this tour. So they take on half the responsibility, and they have Lucky as their client, but they're a client in a way as a partnership. So if they bring a percentage, if they bring an NIL deal or an endorsement deal, they get their percentage, and then the rest of the percentage is paid to the company, and then the company pays Lucky, right? It's Lucky's, right? If I do the same thing, it goes all to Lucky, right? So it's a partnership between people. But what that does is it creates value in this company, in this S Corp or LLC, and it says, man, this kid's a walking brand. So everything he does, he's touching money and it's bringing money in. So let me be an investor in Seven Clovers Management rather than investing in Lucky, where it puts all this pressure on Lucky trying to win the Masters, right? We don't need you to win the Masters at Seven Clovers. We need you to make the cut and need to wear the shirt and be representative. And here comes another 200 grand for the next year, and let's do it again and create the value proposition. And in your business, you understand what I mean by that, by what I'm setting up for him. And it's a very, very, very different business model that we're doing in order for him to be successful, right? Because at the end of the day, I want him to worry about golf, worry about training, worry about what he's eating and all that stuff, and get golf ready. I'll worry about the business. I'll worry about travel, payments, blah, 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 right? So that's the nature of our relationship and how we've handled things, right? And it's a great dynamic. It's been working. It works because, you know, he has 8-hour days. He doesn't have time to do a deck sheet with a profile and say, hey, I'm going here, 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 here. I have status, and I read the sheet about status. I have status. I have a OWGR ranking, blah, blah, blah. Let me in. Go focus about golf. I create the deck sheets, send all the information out. I get word, hey, Lucky, we're scheduled. Boom, we're good. So that's how it's been going. We're on our second year. Last year was professional. He made the cut at the Colorado Open, which was great. No practice round. We had Keegan Bradley's caddy, ex-caddy. He caddied. His name's Steven. But in the golf world, everyone knows him as Pepsi. He caddied for... Yeah, well, the reason why they call him Pepsi is a funny story. He hides Pepsis on the course strategically. So when you walk and you got like a wedge in at 100 yards and there's a bush there, he'll walk over to the bush and grab the Pepsi out of the bush and then drink it and put it in the bag. So that's how he got the nickname Pepsi. So he caddied for Kiddo, and he, caddied to, let's see, no practice round. He had an eagle and 4 birdies at Green Valley Ranch. Right, we made the cut, right? And we made the cut. He played about level the rest of the way out. Didn't have any big rounds or anything. But what I learned from that, because I asked Steven, I said, so what did you do? And he was like, he didn't say anything. He said, I just carried the bag. And when the wind picked up, I told him, I said, this might be one more club. He said, other than that, I didn't say one word to Lucky. And I'm like, wow. He played stellar. No practice round, no nothing, just stellar. So this is what I learned really quickly. When he's with a professional who knows what he's doing, he's not with that, he excels extraordinarily well. So now it's about finding that person to be part of our team, to be that for Lucky, right? Because I know I'm not that guy anymore. And it's okay. I mean, I love him to death. And
that's part of growing.
It is. Oh, and it's part of us growing as dads. You know what I mean?
That's the hard part.
Letting
go is the hard part.
It's a tear jerker, right?
But that's what you develop them for, is to have them move on, right? It's the hard part, though.
Right. And, and we've had conversations. I said, when we didn't do AJGAs and we went to Florida and we played the mini tours, we were preparing you for this. Like when, and I got a lot of flack for a lot of that. His last 13, 14 season was mini tours rather than AJGAs, because I wanted him to play with All-Americans, with professionals. And we did. We played with Blue Sky All-Americans, this dude from Stanford. I mean, we played with so many. And he was finishing top 10. He was finishing in the ranks. I mean, the one tournament, it was funny. Lucky's leading the tournament. It was the West Florida Golf Tour. This was when he was 14. He's leading the tournament, 3 under. We get to the last hole. Alexander Wang, he's a good golfer. And he's up there. He's a professional. He's up there. He's right behind us. He's 3 under. He's tied us the last hole. So I look over at Lucky and I'm like, dude, I don't think we can accept this money. It's $2,500 if you win. Like, I think if you accept this, we're in trouble. Like, you're going to have to bogey the last hole. That's what I told him. I was like, you're going to bogey the last hole. And it was like 376, real easy, just standard, right? Well, he ends up doubling the last hole because of what I said. It was just funny. But we ended up getting $1,000 instead of the 25, which was the allotted amount we can win as an amateur. Because you can win up to 1,000, but you can't win any more than that. So, right. But I did learn my lesson that what they told us was, no, as an amateur, you can defer. If you win, you can defer and take the 1,000, and the second place person will take it. So Alex would have took it anyway.
Got you.
But it was it was funny, but it's just learning how to get out of the way for him. I still do the practices with the coaches. I still listen. I still videotape. I still do the data sheets. I still help him do the workout program. Make sure he's on autopilot. He does it all. You just have to feed him the piece of paper on a schedule. He looks at his schedule and he's really, really, really committed and dedicated to the craft. Right.
Right.
So we did one thing for him, which he did this for himself. I said, if you make the cut at the Colorado Open, you get the money. It's all yours. You buy whatever you want, right? And he's like, I know what I'm buying, Dad. And I'm like, well, what are you gonna buy? He's like, I'm buying a PlayStation. He's like, I want a PlayStation. He's like, I want a PS5. I've been wanting a PS5 for so long. We've been Xbox guys forever, right? So he's like, I want the whole PS5 thing, and I want my whole gaming setup, and I want it for my room and all that stuff. I'm like, done. If you win, if you make the cut, look, at the beginning of the season, when he turned pro, I said, and his coach agreed with me, all we want to do is make cuts and learn.
Yep.
It's too much pressure for you to try to win. I would love it if you win, but to be honest with you, learn how to make cuts, learn how to make par in these challenging holes, long holes, because once we get through a 2-year grace period of him learning how to do that, he'll be a really strong 19-year-old professional coming out and making noise in the PGA. Right. That's what we're gearing towards. So that takes a lot of pressure off of him. So he made the cut at the Bahia Open, which was his professional debut in León, Mexico, which was great. Shot 2 under. kept 2 under all the way through the round. It was 1 under made the cut, 2 under made it, finished 28th, I believe. That was fantastic. And he did that with mom. He didn't do that with me. He did that with mom. I had to work, and he went with mom to Mexico. I was calling every 5 minutes because it's Mexico and it's Leon, and you know what I mean? But, I saw a lot. There's been a lot of growth and a lot of failure along the way too. Like you gotta accept failure in this because,
For
junior
sure.
golf's one thing, and you can be highly successful at junior golf. In college, you can be somewhat 30 to 40% successful, right? But when professional golf, when everyone's good,
Yeah.
your success rate is around 7 to 9% in a 30 tournament season. And that's real stats, right? Like you're only going to be good for 1 or 2 or 3 tournaments unless you catch the hot bug, right? And the rest is make cuts, put yourself in top 10, top 20s, and learn as much as you can and get ready for the next cycle. And as you learn, you get stronger and stronger. Like the coach says, he's like his wealth of knowledge and experience is growing, but we're not there yet, right? So,
but for you as a dad / now manager, what does success look like for you beyond the trophies?
not having to be manager anymore.
Okay.
Not having to be manager and just watch him play. Like I loved Colorado Open. It was so great. My wife and I got a cart. We got to watch him play. It was great. There's a lot of pressure and anxiety and work as a manager. Like this is not easy. So like an individual golfer who does it on his own, a professional, like I can understand now their anxiety, their performance anxiety, all those things they deal with. I'm his dad. I do that for him, so he doesn't have to see that. Right? So success to me would be that he does well enough where we can actually watch him. He grows his brand well enough to where, we can have other people and other agencies start stepping in. But, it's a hard one because, the first thing on his goal sheet is to play professional golf, have status. Check. He's playing professional golf. He has status. It's not on the PGA Tour, but it's on an OWGR rank.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Do you have a world ranking? Yes. Is it? What is it? It's 3,984. But it's a world ranking, right? We're in there, and we're I think in the next month we'll beat Tiger because Tiger's rankings dropped. Right? So there's that, right? There's positive.
That's a goal,
right? I'm re-ranked. At 18, I was ranked higher than Tiger. But it's just our goals are different, but he has just one main goal that he has. He wants to be the youngest to win the Masters. So it's 21 years old and 7 months, and he wrote this down. And he's like, Dad, I want to win the Masters and be the youngest to win the Masters. And that's one goal that's on his goal sheet that I want him to focus on that, and I wouldn't change it per se. The management aspect, yes. I'm fully committed to his dream as a dad. So it's a hard one because success to me is we already have success. We got to thank God that we're doing it and just continue now. It's about his success.
It's funny because you pretty much summed this up, and I was going to ask you if Lucky was to listen to this podcast in 10 years, what do you hope he hears from you in your words?
Oh my God, I'm incredibly proud of him and that I love him and that no matter what, whether I'm here on this earth or not, that I'm always one step of the way, every step of the way there with him, every step of the way. I'll never leave his side. My energy will always be connected to him.
For the listeners, what can we do to help push along Lucky's journey?
Well, we have an organization, a not-for-profit, to help Lucky. It's called LuckySwing.org. All the money that we raise at the end of the year that helps Lucky, whatever we have left, whether it's equipment money or money, goes to junior golf. So you can donate and help at LuckySwing.org. We have a couple projects that we're working on. It's crazy, we don't have all the money in the world, but when we raise money, we still help other people. It's just how it is. It's just got to be that way. So LuckySwing.org is our foundation. But last year's season for us was $87,000. This year it's going to double. Yeah, 87. So this year it's going to double. It's going to be 160. So the two biggest ones were all right, so Lucky got into final stage Q School in the Sunshine Tour in South Africa. So he went to Johannesburg and he competed in the final day of final stage of Q School. And if you make it and you get access on that tour, you get 4 DP World Tour starts, and they walk you onto the DP World Tour if you play well.
That's what this journey is really about. Not rankings, not trophies, not even turning pro. It's about growth. It's about knowing when to push and knowing when to step back. Fred said something powerful. Success for him isn't managing anymore. It's sitting in a cart next to his wife, just watching his son play. That's the transition every dad eventually faces. If you want to support Lucky's journey, you can visit luckyswing.org, and we'll link that in the show. But more importantly, if this conversation resonated with you, share it with another sports parent. These are the conversations we need to be having, because at the end of the day, we're not just raising athletes, we're raising men. This is Slanted Chalk. We'll see you on the next one.